With a shocking announcement that Gervonta Tank Davis will be fighting Jake Paul of all people this November, I wanted to take a closer look at one of Tank's past fights, Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. The judges called it a draw, but when you score round by round using the 4 real criteria of the unified boxing rules, the truth looks very different. In this fight, there were moments nobody's really talking about, and they completely changed the outcome. Let's break it down and see who really won. Round 1, clean punching. And in this round, only 3 landed punches by Gervonta Davis and only 2 landed by Lamont Roach. And you can see what they are on your screen here. Therefore, I had to give clean punching 10-9 to Gervonta Davis. Effective aggression. Neither Gervonta Davis nor Lamont Roach were very aggressive in this round. Both were strategic, looking for single shot openings. Effective aggression, 8 points to both fighters. Ring generalship. Both Tank Davis and Lamont Roach coincidentally had the same game plan. Be cautious with responsible defense. Keeping distance and looking for single shot openings, they both controlled action and tone equally well. Ring generalship, 10 points to both men. Let's talk defense, and you can see each defensive move done by both fighters to avoid punches on your screen here. If we categorize them, I gave the high guard 10-8 Gervonta Davis, ducking 7 points to both men, bobbing and weaving 7 points to both men, parrying 8-7 Lamont Roach, blocking 7 points to both men, footwork 9 points to both men, and clinching 7 points to both fighters. Taking the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 9.010 points to Gervonta Davis and 8.681 points to Lamont Roach, normalizing to the 10-point must system. Round 1, 10-9, Gervonta Davis. And a reminder that after each round, we're going to be taking a look at the running score that I have compared to the 3 judges at ringside. They are Glenn Feldman, Eric Marlinsky, and Steve Weisfeld, all of whom gave that round to Lamont Roach 10-9, so we're off to a running start with disagreement between me and the judges. Round 2, clean punching. In this round, only 4 landed punches for Lamont Roach, but only 1 for Gervonta Davis. You can see them on your screen here, and therefore I had to give clean punching 10-7 to Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. It looked like Gervonta Davis hit Lamont Roach very low, in the leg actually, at 57 seconds on the clock. Lamont Roach also had a few different punches pretty far back on the body in the clinch, but innocuous, so I'm neither counting nor deducting for any of these. Other than that, Lamont moved forward more and Gervonta Davis counterpunched once in a while. Neither were very aggressive, although they were more so in the last 20 seconds. Effective aggression, 9 points to both fighters. Ring generalship. Lamont Roach was walking forward with a good guard. Gervonta Davis was moving backward, waiting to counterpunch. Neither threw or landed many punches, and neither relinquished his game plan for action or tone or forced the other fighter to relinquish his. Ring generalship, 10 points to both fighters. Let's talk defense, and you can see on your screen the minimal defensive moves done by both fighters and when they happen in the round. And if we categorize them together, the high guard goes 10-8 to Lamont Roach, ducking 9-8 Gervonta Davis, bobbing and weaving 9-8 Gervonta Davis, parrying 7 points to both fighters, blocking 8-7 Lamont Roach, footwork 9 points to both fighters, and clinching 8-7 Gervonta Davis. When we take the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 8.462 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.362 points to Lamont Roach. A comfortable win in round 2 to Lamont Roach, 10-9. And as we take a look at that running score, I now have the fight 19-19 a draw. Judge Glenn Feldman gave that round to Lamont Roach and has a 20-18 Lamont Roach. Judge Eric Marlinsky gave that round to Gervonta Davis and has the fight a draw as I do. And Judge Steve Weisfeld gave that round also to Gervonta Davis and also has the fight a draw, 19-19. Round 3, clean punching. And here you see on your screen the 7 clean punches that were landed by Gervonta Davis in this round to the 6 clean punches landed by Lamont Roach. If we take a quick look at the running punch total now, 11 punches have been landed by Gervonta Davis thus far through 3 rounds and 12 by Lamont Roach. Clean punching, 10-9 Gervonta Davis. Effective aggression. With 2:06 on the clock, there was a straight left to the leg, which landed low by Gervonta Davis. Lamont Roach was more aggressive in his constant forward movement, though, making Gervonta Davis move away to wait for his openings. But Tank Davis was more effectively aggressive with his fast, well-timed aggressive bursts. Effective aggression, 9.5 points Gervonta Davis to 9 points for Lamont Roach. Ring generalship. Gervonta Davis, although forced to be alert as Lamont Roach came forward and landed a couple good punches, was more in control of action and tone in this round, employing his aggressive bursts as the round went on to slow Lamont Roach's forward progression. Ring generalship, 10 points Gervonta Davis to 9 points for Lamont Roach. Let's talk defense, and here you can see the defensive moves done by each fighter to avoid punches and when they happen during the round. As we categorized them, I gave 9 points to both fighters for high guard, 9-8 for ducking to Lamont Roach, 10-8 bobbing and weaving Lamont Roach, parrying 8-7 Lamont Roach, blocking 9-8 Gervonta Davis, footwork 10-8 Gervonta Davis, and clinching 7 points to both fighters. And as we take the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gave 9.524 points to Gervonta Davis in round 3 to 8.886 points to Lamont Roach, normalizing to the 10-point must system, a comfortable 10-9 victory in round 3 for Gervonta Davis. Taking a look at the running score, I now have the fight 29-28 Gervonta Davis. Judge Glenn Feldman gave that round to Davis and has it 29-28 Lamont Roach. Judge Eric Marlinsky gave that round to Gervonta Davis and has the fight 29-28 Gervonta Davis as I do. And Judge Steve Weisfeld also gave that round to Gervonta Davis and also has the fight 29-28 Tank Davis. Round 4, clean punching. Lamont Roach lands 10 clean punches that you can see on your screen here to Gervonta Davis's 6 clean landed punches. Clean punching, 10-9, Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. Lamont Roach landed several punches in the clinches that Gervonta Davis initiated. This is legal even though Tank Davis was complaining. Punches during a referee's break are illegal, and this never happened. Lamont Roach's focus was undeterred by the complaint, and he landed another jab during it. Lamont Roach was more effectively aggressive with his undeterred forward-moving focus, while Gervonta Davis was relying more on skill, timing, and counterpunch speed. Effective aggression, 10-9, Lamont Roach. Ring generalship. Gervonta Davis controlled the action for more of the round, and Lamont Roach controlled the tone for more of the round. Ring generalship, 9.5 points to both fighters. Let's talk defense, and you can see all the defensive moves done by both fighters on your screen and when they happened during the round. If we categorize them together, I gave high guard 9 points to both fighters, ducking 9-8 Gervonta Davis, bobbing and weaving 9-8 Gervonta Davis, parrying 7 points to both fighters, blocking 8 points to both fighters, footwork 9-8 Lamont Roach, and clinching 8-7 Gervonta Davis. Taking those 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 8.974 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.483 points to Lamont Roach, normalizing to the 10-point must system, a comfortable win in round 4 for Lamont Roach, 10-9. And I now have the fight a draw, 38-38. Judge Glenn Feldman gave that round to Lamont Roach and has it 39-37 Lamont Roach. Judges Eric Marlinski and Steve Weisfeld both gave that round to Gervonta Davis. Both of them have the fight now 39-37, Tank Davis. Round 5, clean punching. You can see another close round here, 5 clean punches landed by Gervonta Davis to 3 clean punches landed by Lamont Roach, and therefore clean punching, 10-9, Gervonta Davis. Effective aggression. There's a low blow by Gervonta Davis at 1:11 on the clock, another low right hook on the hip right after. He seems to be trying to get below Lamont Roach's great guard, but I would give a hard warning since this is 4 times total. Lamont Roach said something to Gervonta Davis about the low blow. Tank Davis had a response looking like he thought Roach was crazy, and then Gervonta Davis soon landed a rabbit punch from directly behind Lamont Roach, which seemed punitive to me. I'm deducting a point. Lamont Roach with a left hook to the back in the clinch at 31 seconds. I'd give a soft warning for that for a first offense. Tank Davis shoulder block to the chin at 29 seconds. Lamont Roach ain't having it. A right hook to the head while the referee is breaking. That's a hard warning for Lamont Roach now. Effective aggression, 9 points Gervonta Davis, 8.5 points Lamont Roach. Ring generalship. Gervonta Davis controlled more of the tone, albeit some with illegal blows, and Lamont Roach controlled more of the action. For what it's worth, Lamont Roach's illegal blows seem like a retaliation to the multiple by Tank Davis, not initiating on his own. Ring generalship, 9.5 points to both fighters. Let's talk defense, and you can see lots more defense by Gervonta Davis in this round and when each move happened to avoid punches. If we categorize those movements, high guard goes 10-8 to Gervonta Davis, ducking 9-8 Gervonta Davis, bobbing and weaving 9-8 Lamont Roach, parrying 7 points to both fighters, blocking 7 points to both fighters, footwork 9-8 Tank Davis, and clinching 8 points to both fighters. Taking the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 9.274 points to Gervonta Davis and 8.755 points to Lamont Roach. Gervonta Davis should have won this round, but with my 1-point deduction, it becomes a 10-9 round for Lamont Roach. And as we take a look at the running score, I must remind you that the judges at ringside are bound to only take deductions if the referee calls them out. So I expect my score to start deviating from theirs now for that reason. I'm taking away what I know I saw. They can't because the referee didn't call it. So I now have the fight 48-47 Lamont Roach. Judge Glenn Feldman, Judge Eric Marlinski, and Judge Steve Weisfeld all gave that round to Gervonta Davis, which is what would have happened without the deduction. Judge Feldman has it 48-47 Lamont Roach. Judge Marlinski has it 49-46, pretty wide for Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld also 49-46 Gervonta Davis. Round 6, clean punching. In this round, Gervonta Davis lands 11 clean punches, and Lamont Roach lands 7 clean punches. You can see them listed here out on your screen and when they happen. Clean punching, 10-9, Gervonta Davis. Effective aggression. Tank Davis was complaining about Lamont Roach's body shot at 255 that was legal on the belt line. Gervonta Davis generally seems more likely to complain, and Lamont Roach seems more focused. At 158, there was an accidental head clash by Lamont Roach coming in. Lamont Roach left hook rabbit punch while Gervonta Davis was ducking. I'd give a hard warning now to Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach was moving forward more than Gervonta Davis, but Tank Davis was meeting him with some fast firepower in the form of impeccably timed counterpunch. Effective aggression, 10-9, Gervonta Davis. Ring generalship. Gervonta Davis controlled action and tone for most of the round. He interrupted much of what Lamont Roach was trying to accomplish with fast counter. Ring generalship, 10-9, Gervonta Davis. Let's talk defense, and you can see all the defensive moves done by both fighters to avoid punches listed here on your screen and when they happened. And if we categorize those, the high guard goes 10-9 to Gervonta Davis, ducking 8-7 Tank Davis, bobbing and weaving 9-8 Lamont Roach, parrying 7 points to both fighters for not parrying, blocking 9-8 Lamont Roach, footwork 9-8 Tank Davis, and clinching 8-7 Gervonta Davis. Taking the 4 scoring criteria criteria together, this one's fairly wide for Gervonta Davis, 9.657 points to 8.800 points. A clear 10-9 round in round 6 for Gervonta Davis. And I now have the fight a draw, 57-57. Judge Glenn Feldman, Judge Eric Marlinsky, and Judge Steve Weisfeld all gave that round to Gervonta Davis. Judge Glenn Feldman now has the fight a draw as I do, 57-57. And Judges Eric Marlinsky and Steve Weisfeld have the fight 59-55, Gervonta Davis. Round 7, clean punching. A big disparity in Lamont Roach's favor in this one, 14 clean landed punches to 5 for Gervonta Davis. And therefore, clean punching, 10-8, Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. There was a left hook by Gervonta Davis at 157 that looked low to me. It's debatable on whether it was intentional, so I'd give a soft warning. At 129, it looked like a left hook to the back by Lamont Roach in the clinch. I'd give a hard warning for that one. Lamont Roach with a right elbow to the head in the same clinch, I would now take a point from Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach now seems more intent on proving quien es el más macho, more so than keeping the focus that he had previously. At 51 seconds, a straight left low blow by Gervonta Davis. I'd give a hard warning for that. And with less than 10 seconds remaining, Gervonta Davis with a right squarely to the lower back of a ducking Lamont Roach. I'd give a 1-point deduction to Gervonta Davis. And then, believe it or not, again, with less than 10 seconds remaining, Lamont Roach with 2 forearms to the back of the head, so another point deduction for Lamont Roach. And I'd say he's on thin ice now. 1 more point deduction would be a disqualification. Effective aggression, 9 points Gervonta Davis, 9.5 points Lamont Roach. Ring generalship. Lamont Roach controlled pace and tone for the majority of the round. It's a shame that he loses 2 points for fouls because he had his most dominant clean punches landed disparity. Ring generalship, 10-9, Lamont Roach. Let's talk defense, and here again are all the defensive moves done to avoid punches listed on your screen and when they happened. Categorizing them together, high guard, 10-8, Gervonta Davis. Ducking, 9-7, Gervonta Davis. Bobbing and weaving, 10-9, Lamont Roach. Parrying, 7 points to both fighters. Blocking, 8 points to both fighters. Footwork, 10-9, Tank Davis. And clinching, 8-7, Tank Davis. Taking the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 8.643 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.467 points to Lamont Roach. This should have been a 10-9 round for Lamont Roach, but given the 1-point deduction for Gervonta Davis and the 2 points deducted to Lamont Roach, it's 10-9 Gervonta Davis. Having another look at that running score, I now have the fight 67-66 Gervonta Davis. Judge Glenn Feldman gave the round to Gervonta Davis and has it 67-66 as I do. Judge Eric Marlinsky gave that round to Lamont Roach and has it 68-65 Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld also gave that round to Lamont Roach and also has the fight 68-65 Gervonta Davis. Round 8, clean punching. Another huge disparity in this round. Lamont Roach landed 13 clean punches that you see on your screen here to Gervonta Davis's 3. And therefore, clean punching has to go to Lamont Roach 10-7 in round 8. Effective aggression. At 37 seconds on the clock, a right uppercut low blow by Gervonta Davis. I would deduct 1 point here. This is multiple infractions now. At 10 seconds on the clock, Gervonta ducks low and attempts a single leg takedown. Lamont Roach controls him though, and Gervonta Davis swings on the ref's break but misses, or else I would have disqualified him. Lamont Roach was clearly the more effective aggressor in this round. Effective aggression, Lamont Roach 10, Gervonta Davis 8.5. Ring generalship. Lamont Roach controlled action and tone for most of the round. Gervonta Davis was reactive to the point of resorting to illegal blows when he couldn't land consistently. Ring generalship, 10 points Lamont Roach, 8.5 Gervonta Davis. Let's talk defense, and you can see all of the defensive maneuvers done by both fighters and when they happened on your screen here. If we categorize them together, I gave high guard to Gervonta Davis 10-8. He's doing better with high guard for most of the fight. Ducking 10-8 Gervonta Davis. Bobbing and weaving 9 points to both fighters. Parrying 8-7 Lamont Roach. Blocking 7 points to both fighters. Footwork 9-8 Lamont Roach. And clinching 7 points to both fighters. Taking the 4 scoring criteria together, the algorithm gives 8.007 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.6 points to Lamont Roach, the widest disparity of any round so far, this time in favor of Lamont Roach, who would have won the round 10-9, but with the 1-point deduction I gave Gervonta Davis, it's a 10-8 round Lamont Roach. And I now have the fight 76-75 Lamont Roach. Judge Glenn Feldman gave that round to Lamont Roach and has the fight 76-76 a draw. Judge Eric Marlinsky gave the round to Lamont Roach as well and has the fight 77-75 Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld gave that round to Gervonta Davis and has the fight 78-74. Round 9, clean punching. In this round, unbelievably, both fighters land exactly 13 punches, so both fighters get 10 points for clean punching. Effective aggression. Gervonta Davis was looking out of the ring at 2:18 on the clock. The third time I've seen this now, so I'm not sure what's distracting him. Both Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach were effectively aggressive, but Lamont Roach was aggressive for more of the round, especially in the second half. Effective aggression, 9.5 points Gervonta Davis, 10 points Lamont Roach. Ring generalship. Gervonta Davis takes a knee. He goes to get his face wiped and comes back. He blinked uncomfortably after Lamont Roach's jab didn't quite land solidly, so I don't know what's going on with that eye, possibly. The ref doesn't call a knockdown when Gervonta Davis takes a knee, but I must. According to the unified rules of boxing, taking a knee is a knockdown. By the way, the ring general can't be the one who takes a knee to get a break from the action, so Lamont Roach gets this category. Ring generalship, 10 points to 8.5 in favor of Lamont Roach. Let's talk defense. And again, here are all the defensive moves done by both fighters and when they happened in the round. If we categorize them, high guard again goes 10-8 to Tank Davis, ducking 9 points to both fighters, bobbing and weaving 10-8 to Tank Davis, parrying 8-7 to Lamont Roach, blocking 9-8 Lamont Roach, footwork 9-8 Lamont Roach, and clinching 8 points to both fighters. Taking the four scoring criteria together, the algorithm gave 9.231 points to Tank Davis and 9.686 points to Lamont Roach. What would have been a 10-9 round for Lamont Roach is now 10-8 Lamont Roach. And I now have the fight 86-83 in favor of Lamont Roach. Judge Glenn Feldman gave that round to Gervonta Davis and has the fight 86-85 Davis. Judge Eric Marlinsky gave that round to Gervonta Davis as well and has it 87-84 Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld gave that round to Lamont Roach and has the fight 87-84 Gervonta Davis. Round 10. Clean punching. In this round, it was close. Lamont Roach landed 14 clean punches to Gervonta Davis's 12, and therefore clean punching 10-9 Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. At 37 seconds on the clock, Tank Davis's left hook was low, but his head was down, so I'm going to call it accidental. Both Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach were aggressive at times, but Lamont Roach was more effective in the sense that Gervonta Davis looked cautious at times, wanting to see what would happen next, and Lamont Roach was nearly always moving forward. Both had effective aggressive flurries. Effective aggression, 9.5 points to Lamont Roach, 9 to Gervonta Davis. Ring generalship. For the reasons described in effective aggression, both fighters controlled action at different times, but Lamont Roach controlled more of the tone. He seemed less deterred by what was coming at him. Ring generalship, 9.5 points to Gervonta Davis, 10 points to Lamont Roach. Let's talk defense. And again, here are all the maneuvers done in this round by each fighter to avoid punches, and if we categorize them together, the high guard again goes 10-8 to Tank Davis, ducking 9-8 to Tank Davis, bobbing and weaving 9-8 Tank Davis, parrying 8-7 Tank Davis, blocking 8 points to both fighters, footwork 8 points to both fighters, and clinching 8-7 Tank Davis, a more well-rounded defensive round for sure for Gervonta Davis. And when we take all four scoring criteria together, though, it's 9.031 points for Tank Davis and 9.409 points to Lamont Roach, a 10-9 round in round 10, Lamont Roach. And as we take another look at the running score, I have the fight now 96-92 in favor of Lamont Roach. All three judges at ringside gave that round to Lamont Roach. Judge Glenn Feldman now has it 95-95 a draw. Judge Eric Marlinsky has it 96-94 Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld has it 96-94 Gervonta Davis. Round 11. Clean punching. In this round, Lamont Roach outdoes Gervonta Davis 21-15 clean punches landed. And you've seen the running punch totals on your screen for each round thus far, but I'm going to highlight it here. Lamont Roach has 107 clean punches landed to 81 for Gervonta Davis. Clean punching, 10-9 Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. Both Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach were very effectively aggressive in this round. Lamont Roach was maybe slightly more consistently aggressive and had the more eye-catching combo, but it's close enough that I'm giving both 10 points. Ring generalship. The on-screen graphic in this round had Gervonta Davis ahead 84-83 clean landed punches at a point when I had it 71-92. I can't see me being off by this much. I believe something fishy may be going on. Both Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach controlled action and tone as they went back and forth. I'll edge tone to Lamont Roach as he remained composed like he has throughout the fight, while Gervonta Davis became very vocal when the referee pointed out fouls he saw. Ring generalship, Lamont Roach 10, Gervonta Davis 9.5. Let's talk defense, and once again you see all the defensive maneuvers done in this round to avoid punches and when they happened. If we categorize them together, high guard 10-8 Gervonta Davis, ducking 9 points to both fighters, bobbing and weaving 10-8 Lamont Roach, parrying 7 points to both fighters, blocking 10-7 Lamont Roach, footwork 9-8 Gervonta Davis, and clinching 8 points to both fighters. Taking the four scoring categories together, it's 9.240 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.714 points to Lamont Roach. A comfortable win in round 11 for Lamont Roach, 10-9. And I now have the fight 106-101 in favor of Lamont Roach. Judge Glenn Feldman gave the round to Gervonta Davis and has it 105-104 Davis. Judges Eric Marlinsky and Steve Weisfeld both gave that round to Lamont Roach, and both have the fight 105-104 Tank Davis. The 12th and final round. Clean punching. Lamont Roach goes off and scores 20 clean landed punches to Gervonta Davis's 9 in the last round. Clean punching, 10-8 Lamont Roach. Effective aggression. Both fighters did well with effective aggression, but Gervonta Davis took 2 visible breaks. One at the beginning of the round where he stepped back and then engaged again, and one at the end of the round where he seemed to be losing interest, frankly. While Lamont Roach was aggressive sometimes and waiting for Gervonta Davis to initiate sometimes, though. Lamont Roach was a bit more effective. He did land over twice as many clean punches after all. Effective aggression, 9.5 Lamont Roach, 9 points to Gervonta Davis. Ring generalship was even. Gervonta Davis tried to lure Lamont Roach into fast shots by talking a lot, and Lamont Roach waited for Tank Davis to initiate sometimes, but but beat him up other times. Each controlled action in tone for part of the round and not for other parts. Ring generalship, 9 points to both fighters. Let's talk defense. And again, here are all the times in the final round when both fighters stopped to use defensive maneuvers to avoid punches and when they happened. And if we categorize them, I gave 9 points to both fighters for the high guard, ducking 9-8 Lamont Roach, bobbing and weaving 10-9 Gervonta Davis, parrying 7 points to both fighters, blocking 9-8 Lamont Roach, footwork 8 points to both fighters, and clinching 8 points to both fighters. In the final round, taking the 4 scoring criteria together, it's 8.557 points to Gervonta Davis and 9.319 points to Lamont Roach. A comfortable win in the final round for Lamont Roach, 10-9. And now the time has come that you've all been waiting for to find out once and for all who really won Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. And the answer is Lamont Roach. 116-110 is what I have after giving that last round to Lamont Roach, 10-9. And we can look at the different scoring categories in aggregate on the bottom of the screen, where we see overall clean punching. Lamont Roach did a better job in the fight overall. He did a better job in effective aggression overall. That's where you see the 9.333 and the 9.125. He did a better job in ring generalship overall. It's only in defense where Tank Davis did a better job overall in this fight. Let's have a look at that running score and see how I compare to the judges at ringside. So once again, I had it 116-110. Judge Glenn Feldman gave the final round to Lamont Roach and had the fight 114-114, a draw. Judge Eric Marlinski gave the round to Gervonta Davis and ended up with 115-113, Gervonta Davis. And Judge Steve Weisfeld gave that round to Lamont Roach and ended up also with a draw, 114-114. A few other statistics on the bottom of the screen that might interest you. The maximum number of punches landed in any round by Tank Davis, 15. The maximum number of punches landed by Lamont Roach, 21. The minimum for Gervonta Davis, 1. And the minimum for Lamont Roach in any round, 2 landed punches. Gervonta Davis averaged 8 clean landed punches across all the rounds, and Lamont Roach averaged 11. And the total that we ended up with, Gervonta Davis 90 clean landed punches in the fight, Lamont Roach 127. So normally I would hand out awards to the judges that got the decision right, but in this case, they're all so far off from what I have. However, we're going to have to give the benefit of the doubt that I deducted points where I thought they should have been deducted, even though the referee didn't deduct them, and once again, judges are not allowed to do that. So let's have a look at the 4 shenanigan rounds and see what the score would have been if I didn't deduct. So again, I had the score 116-110. Round 5, I had a point deduction for Gervonta Davis and gave the round to Lamont Roach. If we would have reversed those, the score becomes 115-111. Round 7, I deducted a point from Gervonta Davis, but I deducted 2 points from Lamont Roach. If we reverse that one, we're back to 116-110. Round 8, I deducted 1 point from Gervonta Davis, making it a 10-8 round for Lamont Roach instead of a 10-9 round. So now we're at 116-111. And in round 9, I deducted 1 point from Gervonta Davis, again giving Lamont Roach a 10-8 round when it would have otherwise been a 10-9. And therefore, if we remove all the shenanigans, I would have had this fight 116-112 Lamont Roach, still a far cry from the draw that was the official decision. So still, no awards for any of the judges. Sorry, guys. Let's have a quick look at which of the rounds were close, which were won by a wide margin, and which were won by a comfortable margin. And as you can see here, there's yellow all over the screen, and that means the rounds won by either fighter were all won by a comfortable but not overwhelming margin, except round 8, which was won by an overwhelming margin by Lamont Roach. You don't see any red on your screen, meaning none of the rounds were too close to call, and therefore I don't think any of them are controversial. And now you know who really won Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. So that's my breakdown of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. Based on the real 4 scoring criteria, this fight was nowhere near the draw the judges had it. If you enjoyed this and want to see more breakdowns of controversial fights, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and check out one of the videos right here that are now appearing on your screen. Either another Who Really Won breakdown, or my guide on how to score a boxing match properly using the 4 criteria. I'll see you there.